I'm pleased to welcome Alex Townsend, Head of Partnerships at Choice Energy. Starting out in sales and working his way into leadership, he's gained a broad practical understanding of the energy sector, its complexities, its challenges, and the opportunities that keep this industry moving forward. Today, Alex will talk us through a brief look at Choice Energy's history and the positive impact the team has delivered for the Australian businesses. He'll share valuable insights into the current energy landscape, what's shifting, what's challenging, and where the opportunities lie. Over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Felicity, and excited to be presenting this as a new Nat Road partner out to members and provide a lot of, information and education around the energy market and the landscape, because it is incredibly complex and super relevant, as every single one of your members is going to pay an energy bill in some scenario. A little bit about Choice Energy, because there's plenty out there who are probably listening to this recording that would not have heard of us before. We've been around for a little over 12 years now, and we have over 13,000 business customers across Australia. We have offices in both Victoria and Queensland, but have a national reach, essentially. Those 13,000 customers that we have worked with over the last 12 or so years combined will save around $70 million in 2025 through what we've been able to achieve for them. And what we have been able to achieve is primarily around the electricity and gas rate assessments, which you can see in the top right corner there. That's 95% of what we do, is making sure that the electricity and gas rates that any business is paying is as cheap as it possibly can be. How we actually are able to identify that is through accessing special offers from energy retailers and getting bespoke pricing to match a business's energy needs. And they're often not open to the general public in terms of whether it's the specific rates that we're able to find, or even the relationships that we have with retailers that we're able to leverage those specific and bespoke rates for businesses to allow them to reduce their energy cost. Point three there, which is scaled back a little bit, but is still about 5% of what we do, is we're also a commercial solar provider. So we're able to analyze a business's energy usage if they don't already have solar, and build a business case to see if it stacks up and worth installing solar panels to be cash flow positive, basically, for a business. And by cash flow positive, I mean that the monthly repayments that a solar system might cost are going to outweigh the cost of what it would continue to pay on your energy bill and buy from the grid. And often, as we've seen over the last few years with energy rates increasing, that there's more and more opportunity to have those systems cash flow positive. The assessments that we conduct as well for small to medium enterprise businesses, which is anyone spending less than about $30,000 per annum, is that we'll assess your bill every 3 to 6 months, basically as frequently as you want or need it. Energy rates will typically change every 6 to 12 months. And so retailers will come out with new offers. We're able to analyze those offers and do everything to make sure that the rates that you sign today are as competitive in that 6-12 months time as well. There are no exit fees or break fees that are associated with those small market agreements, and so we're able to find those competitive rates ongoing. We also provide expert, energy advice when it comes to recontracting and negotiating electricity contracts for those businesses that spend more than $30,000 per annum, and we can find opportunities in the market to really capitalize on low points, which I'll touch on in a couple of slides' time. So essentially, look, why Choice Energy? Why would anyone want to work with us? Why do businesses want to work with us? It's pretty straightforward, really. Energy costs are obviously a massive burden for so many businesses out there across all different types of industries. And the work that we do, without it actually costing a business anything, is going to provide, at the very worst, peace of mind to know that a business is on the best possible rates, and there's nothing that we can do to help them right now. 20% of businesses are in this position Australia-wide, so that means that there's 80% of businesses that we can often find savings for. And how we get paid is by the retailer, so a business doesn't actually see an invoice from Choice Energy at any time from that. Point 3 there that you can see is there is that opportunity for those that are looking at sustainability options to reduce your or offset your carbon production, whether that be through commercial solar. We also do green power plans and carbon neutral plans through the retailers and retailer relationships that we have as well. So for those businesses that are looking to have those sustainability options, which isn't everyone, but it is growing more and more to have those sustainability options there, we can help facilitate those as well. So what's the relevance of what we do to NatRoad members Australia-wide? I think you'd probably be living under a rock if you didn't realise that your energy bill had gone up a fair bit over the last 4 or 5 years. That graph on the right-hand side shows the average wholesale price of electricity from Q3 2020 to the end of June 2025, and it's increased by about 116% over the last 5 years. So everyone's seeing their energy bill go up and up and up, particularly since 2022. And here's a graph that illustrates that. Where that's come from a relevant perspective is that energy is now a top 3 operational cost. In some cases, it's going to be the highest operational expense for a lot of businesses. A lot of NatRoad members, fuel's probably going to be up there above energy, but energy is still going to be up there when it comes to operational expenses, and would have risen from a relatively low operational expense, say 10 years ago, to now a top 3 expense in most cases. The data that we collect as well, which is aligned with ACCC data, is that 90% of businesses Australia-wide don't have the time or know where to review their bills and their rates themselves, which is why we're so important in the grand scheme of things. And as I said before, 80% of the businesses that we work with overpay on their energy bills and could be paying less. That's consistent with ACCC data as well from a consumer perspective, that 80% of people could be paying less on their energy bill if they either went straight back to their retailer, or B, used a comparison service or energy consultant like us. So where does the opportunity lie for NatRoad members? It's actually the perfect time to look at renegotiating or recontracting your electricity plans. I've got 4 graphs up there on this slide, which shows the wholesale electricity market in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, and South Australia. And it shows a pretty clear visual representation that the market's dropped significantly across 3 of those states in the last 2 weeks or so. And you compare that to where rates were either at in December or how rates increased in December. You can see that the market is, in New South Wales and Queensland in particular, 2-year lows. So what that means for NatRoad members is they can be looking at recontracting and renegotiating their electricity rates now, whilst the market is, what we're calling it, artificially low. By artificially low, it means that there's really no explanation as to why the energy rates have dropped as significantly and sharply as they have in the last 2 weeks, which means likely that the market is going to even itself out in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks as we get into warmer months, and correct itself to a point where that dip increases just as sharply and quickly to kind of offset the drop that we've seen in the last few weeks. So our recommendation to all businesses that have an electricity agreement expiring in the next 12 months is to look at securing rates now whilst the market is as low as we've seen it, especially in New South Wales and Queensland in the last 2 years. So I've got a slide here which I guess illustrates some actual case studies and real businesses that we have worked with that are on our website as well, because it's all well and good talking about savings that we find or savings that we can find for businesses, and that 80% of businesses are overpaying. So it's important to probably show some actual businesses that are maybe not necessarily NatRoad members, but certainly businesses within industry that would be relevant speaking to. So Intercentral Logistics is a business that we've worked with for many years. Our best result for them was finding a saving of $24,000 per annum by negotiating their electricity contract. Similar to when we look at time in the market, the savings that we can find on an electricity contract, typically look at making sure that we time the market as best as we possibly can. Similar to Western Tanker Services, we were able to negotiate their electricity costs and contract, as well as we were able to explore solar and saw that was cash flow positive for them as well. And through those two tactics, we're able to find a $12,000 per annum saving for them. And then something that's probably a little bit closer to home, because with Western Tanker and Intercentral, they're quite high energy users in the grand scheme of things, and probably spending north of $50,000 a year on their power. East Coast Generators was a business that was spending about $20,000 a year on their energy spend. Through contract negotiation and looking at better retailers for East Coast Generators, we were able to find a projected annual savings of close to $5,000 a year. It's about 25% that we were able to reduce their power spend by. All that we did there with East Coast Generators was receive a copy of the most recent bill and then go to retailers to see if there was anything better. And that aligns with the customer journey that we've got here. It's a really simple process. So all that we require is a copy of the most recent bill to get the process started, to look at indicative figures, to provide a savings journey, essentially. When we get a member's details that come inbound into us, that member will typically be contacted within 24 hours to be able to see if there's anything that we can do right now. It's a very straightforward and very quick process. That final point there is that we assess that most recent bill. We get all retailers that are willing to participate. We get their rates and provide the outcomes to that business, where the worst case scenario, as I said before, is that we're unable to find a better rate for them, and we let them know they're on the best rate possible, and there's nothing that we can do to help them. So far, since we came on board with NatRoad, which was mid-October, I believe, maybe a little bit earlier, we've been able to work with 6 NatRoad members across 15 sites, and the average savings we're looking at it is about $1,000 per site in savings that we have been able to find for those NatRoad members. I don't think there is a NatRoad member that has sent us their bill that we haven't been able to help yet. So I talked to 80% of businesses that we can help in terms of negotiating or finding cheaper energy plans for them. In NatRoad's case, of a small sample size, albeit, but that's sitting at 100%. So we've been able to help every single one that has been able to come to us and that we've reviewed the energy bills for. So in terms of how you can get the process started, my details are there. That's my direct line mobile number, as well as my email address. If you send a copy of the most recent bill to my email address there, we can usually, as I said, have something ready for you within 24 hours of what opportunities there might be to save and reduce your energy spend. We also have an exclusive member offer running until the 16th of Jan, which is for NatRoad members only, which is if you send in your electricity bill for us to assess before the 16th of January, you go into the draw to win $1,000 off your energy bill. So that's a campaign that we have running there. You don't need to go ahead with any switch that we recommend. Even if we find that we can't help you and you're on the best possible rates, you still go into that draw to win $1,000 off your energy spend, all for doing nothing and for joining in a process which costs $0 to find out if you could be overpaying anyway. So we feel that that's a pretty enticing offer to what is, you know, $1,000 off your energy spend. I feel that most people would probably bite your arm off if they could get $1,000 taken off their bill as of right now. So that's a really good opportunity to, one, obviously enter the draw to get $1,000, but then also two, seeing if you could be saving even more through the rate assessments that we're going to be able to do, and the strategic advice and education that we can provide. So that's it from me. Obviously, if you do have any questions, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. Every member's energy plan and situation is different, and so there are going to be different opportunities to be able to work with each and every one of the NatRoad members that are in the national energy market, and we look forward to working with NatRoad on this strategic partnership as well, as it's only just the beginning, and we've already seen to be providing a huge amount of benefit to NatRoad members. So that's it from me. But thanks for having a listen today, and looking forward to working with and seeing many of you throughout events as well in future.